Well, we have reports from here in New York and in the UK tonight. Our senior diplomatic correspondent, Nina Larson, is in studio in New York. But let's start with our Europe correspondent, Jonathan Sacerdoti, joining us live from London. And Jonathan, what has been the reaction in the UK to May's announcement?
Theresa May was certainly talking tough, and that was very well received in the House of Commons from both the Labour Party and the Conservative Party, and also the smaller parties. Jeremy Corbyn, the leader of the Labour Party, the opposition, did have a few reservations, saying that he wanted to make entirely sure that the evidence was there. But even those in his own party seemed much readier to agree with Theresa May than with him on that issue. And the nation seems fairly united behind her attitude as well. So now it just remains to be seen if Theresa May can really put together enough sanctions that might bite for Russia, with enough help from her allies around the world, and if indeed she will manage to walk the walk and not just talk the talk.
Well, Jonathan, what has the reaction from Russia been like to her talking the talk?
Well, Russia has also been talking tough, and they've hit back, saying that Britain is breaking international laws and norms by not giving them enough time to respond to these allegations. They say they deserve 10 days, not one, and they haven't been playing ball. They didn't make any confessions like Theresa May suggested, but they didn't also really treat the problem as she wanted them to. She said they treated it with disdain. Indeed, they've made their own threats towards the United Kingdom in retaliation for the moves that she outlined today, saying that they will be evicting embassy staff also from the British embassy in Russia.
Tit for tat there. Nina, this was obviously a big topic of discussion at the UN Security Council today, and Nikki Haley wasn't pulling any punches. Let's take a listen.
This is a defining moment. Time and time again, member states say they oppose the use of chemical weapons under any circumstance. Now one member stands accused of using chemical weapons on the sovereign soil of another member. The credibility of this council will not survive if we fail to hold Russia accountable.
The credibility of the Security Council, some may question its credibility regardless of this. But Nina, what else did Haley have to say about it?
Well, Haley made a direct link between this attack using chemical weapons and those attacks in Syria, which Russia is always providing political and diplomatic cover for the Syrian regime. And Haley also made the point that, you know, if this is happening in the UK, it could possibly happen in other Security Council states. It could happen right here in New York.
Right.
So she was really calling upon the Security Council to act.
Well, Nina, here's the issue with the Security Council and its credibility is that veto power, because that is what has been preventing any action from being taken on a number of fronts, including, of course, Syria. Now, Russia, as we know, has a veto power there and has exercised it a lot when it comes to Syria. So what can we expect from the UN then?
Well, I think Russia's going to be under increasing pressure. They're already very, very isolated there at the United Nations. And let's not forget the Syria problem has not gone away. Russia did sign on to a ceasefire a couple of weeks ago, and the US is circulating a draft to try and make that a reality again. And Russia will again be on the spot, Michelle.
Yeah, and Nina, Russia also being what prevented that chemical weapons UN investigating team, and that's another point that Haley made today. Jonathan, let's talk about how this could develop, because expelling some diplomats, keeping the royals away from the Russian World Cup. All right, these measures seem mostly symbolic at this stage. Is there a chance that this could really escalate?
Theresa May said that she's not just doing this symbolically, that those diplomats are people she has identified as intelligence officers, and she wants to undermine the Russian intelligence capability within the UK and permanently do so that they won't be able to recover it. And then also, if we listen to that UN meeting just now, earlier on, we would have heard the UK Deputy Permanent Representative to the United Nations, Jonathan Allen, who said that this was no common crime. It was an unlawful use of force, a violation of Article 2 of the United Nations Charter, no less. And he said that was a challenge to the basis of the international legal order in general. So Britain really is talking very firmly on this. I think that it's going to be more than just symbolic moves that they're pushing for in the coming days. They're going to want to build a coalition of people and of countries who are going to respond forcefully against Russia with them.
Jonathan, very quickly, is there any update on this investigation and on Skripal's condition?
Well, as before, they're not giving away too much about the investigation, but from observing it, we can see that they've been concentrating quite a lot on Mr. Skripal's car. There is a theory going around that maybe the poison was administered on the handle of the car. Mr. Skripal and his daughter are still in hospital. Don't think there's been any change in their condition, but again, details of that are not being given readily.
All right, Jonathan, appreciate the update. Jonathan Sacerdoti live in London, and Nina Lawson here in our New York studio. Thanks to you both.